Ahoy hoy all, Truss here, and welcome back to the Darwin Reforged server. Today I'm going to be reviewing a plot by the builder Choriphus, and it's quite a plot. It's very jam-packed and goes both up and down more than any plot I've ever known. So Choriphus really did use every available inch of space in this place, and you'll see for yourself just how magnificent it is. To begin though, there's actually something of a side story to it, so let me try and read it. Faxan Ta, abode of Viecons, Manathan v fish. Here, in the Scana jungle, lives a wizard seeking a secluded place to conduct his research. Manathan, a truly dedicated scholar to his fields, set out from the Imperial Viecons University over 20 years ago in search of a place where he could best conduct his research. After a long search, he discovered this location, rich in natural energies and concentrations of magic. Through the help of his apprentices and the aid of his magical abilities, Manathan built his manor deep beneath the jungle, with the purpose to avoid the scrutiny and the condensation of his peers. For his research, while innocent in his nature, can yield devastating results with the destructive force to destroy the entire civilization with little more than a drop of an elixir. So we begin our journey here, which is, I assume, the point of entry to the plot. And Choriphus has left a little mail here, a little note, saying the plot is meant to be seen in Conquest of the Sun shaders. Now, unfortunately, this plot is rather a lot for my poor laptop, so I'm afraid shaders aren't an option in this case, but I shall leave a screenshot at the beginning and at the end just to give an idea of exactly what it's meant to look like as Choriphus intended. Now, it's quite an entrance. You walk beneath the roots of a gigantic tree, and I'm going to just zoom up here because, as I said, the plot goes very high into the air and quite deep into the ground. So I suppose the logical start is at the top and we shall work our way down. And the plot is dominated by a gigantic tree, and within this tree is an even more gigantic nest. And you'd think, what sort of bird or what sort of beast could be such a vast size? And you look up and the plot continues even further, and in the air above is a gigantic rock, and obviously that's the bird that occupies the nest. The tree itself has just sprawling branches out, and again, just I suppose an appropriate amount of vegetation for and organics for a tree and a construct of its size. There are a few little mushrooms here and there, which is in keeping with the entire theme and the entire atmosphere of the plot, which has quite a bit of fungus of various sizes and forms throughout the place, and getting more prominent as you go towards the base of the plot. So again, just a magnificently large tree. And we'll go back to our starting point and wander down the well-beaten track that's seen better days. Again, as you walk, you're just completely surrounded. Choriphus took a lot of care, to create plot blockers to enclose the plot, so that when you're inside you really do feel that you're in a dense jungle. And again, just signs that there was once upon a time some form of civilization here, but nature has overtaken it with roots and rubble and moss and algae. But yet it has been, Manathan has taken over the place again, and now we have signs of life again, with our signs of civilization again, with things like new lamp posts, that sort of thing. And we wander through the road and come across, and I love this. This reminds me of Morrowind in so many ways, and the Dark Elves of the Elder Scrolls. Again, as I said, the mushrooms becoming more prominent as we walk down throughout the plot. And this construct here, a mushroom house, and it's just done so wonderfully, and it's just whimsical and gorgeous and just really a joy to experience. And again, a disclaimer on this plot, I probably won't be able to even discover a tenth of what Choriphus has put in the plot because it's so densely packed with detail. It's incredible. We'll just wander inside this house and see what there is to be seen. Again, just Choriphus did a good job in creating as much signs of life as possible in the small space he had, and has done a very good job of it. Very fantasy-esque and something quite unique to other stuff I've seen before. I have seen other gigantic mushroom plots before, as I probably have mentioned in another video. Scout Maximus has done one, but again, just with a very different vision as to what hers was and compared to this place. Now we wander across and again come across ancient signs of civilization that nature has overtaken, with again just an insane amount of vegetation and detail, utilizing blocks very well. And look at that, that's just a magnificent view. Choriphus himself is something of a well-known builder in another life, and he was quite influential in his way and has influenced a lot of builders, myself included, and has brought a lot of people along with him to the Conquest Reforged mod pack. I'm not entirely even sure where I'm going now at this point. It's I did try and do a kind of a scouting expedition before I did this review, but I just got lost. There was too much to be seen. And just look, a dense lush cave. So this was created long before the lush caves of Minecraft, and so in some ways prophetic, and in my own opinion a lot better. As we wander downwards over a bridge, and again a small waterfall with use of cloud blocks and steam blocks to indicate the splashing and the foam created by the water as it cascades down. Now, there's so many ways you can go here. There's so much to be seen and so much to do. Again, a small little gazebo with font underneath it. Again, just giving hints of a story. More mushrooms, just beautifully done. As we wander down, and I think we're coming across more signs of life. Again, either the same tree or another tree that's just gargantuan. You do love that word gargantuan. One so rarely has an opportunity to use it in a sentence. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this indicates, but obviously it's meant to indicate something. And the nature of the mushrooms changing as we come down, they change in colour, which I quite like. It shows that, you know, the mycelium has spread in a kind of a correct way. So we've gone from red to a purple to yellow mushrooms. and what appears to be a natural cave system that's been very carefully utilized by whoever came here to take advantage of the natural cave but yet build within it. As we go down, and again, this really does, along with the backstory that Choriphus gave, this really does allow you imagine exactly what's going on here, and it helps a lot, because if it wasn't for the backstory, this plot, while it would be absolutely wonderful, people might be inclined to wonder exactly what the story is, that it was probably a bit of a mishmash of too many things. But because of the story, we're aware of exactly the reasoning behind every block and the reason the plot is built the way it is. And now we're coming down to, I think, Manathan's Lair proper. Lovely little font again. And a living area. Just look at that. There is so much to take inspiration from in this plot. And it is really and truly worth a visit. You'll be able to immerse yourself within the vast level of details. Again, I can't help but look up and just be astounded by just the views that this plot allows, and very carefully concealed areas that aren't obvious at all or apparent at all from the top where you enter, that you're going to be able to come across this well laid out interior and this well laid out lair of this wizard, and even the vision of having this gigantic fireplace here. It just speaks volumes. Either, I think, only a genius or a madman could create this. Now, my opinion is that Choriphus is the former, but I suppose there's a fine line between genius and madness. But as I said, I think Choriphus definitely falls into the genius category in this. And now we're at the very base of the plot, at a pool, and we can look up, and it looks up so high that the clouds themselves conceal the top of the plot. And here's another, I think, area. Oh, no, this is the area I came in already. Apologies. As I mentioned prior to this, I did try and do a proper scouting expedition, but inevitably got lost, which is my own fault and not anybody else's. Even the fence itself is done very, very well. Rather than just put a single fence on, which he could have done, he did a double layered rail, which looks really well and just gives an extra level of detail. It's entirely possible I'm going to exactly the same place I was in already, but no, I think this is a new spot. Again, yeah, just a lovely little area. And a final area that is for sleeping, obviously. And I'm getting quite distracted with my review, so apologies about that also. I just am getting a little bit overwhelmed by the level of detail, and I then fall into silence as I contemplate it. But I do hope you can bear with me as I try and show you just some of the scope that's inherent in this plot. Just as I said, details abound, and as with most of the plots I reviewed, the best way to experience it is by hopping on the Darwin Reforged server and visiting this plot yourself. I will leave a method by which to get here. I don't think it has a warp, as Choriphus isn't technically an expert level on Darwin, so he probably hasn't set a warp, but I will give detailed descriptions as to how to visit this plot yourself, because it really is incredible and really is worth the visit. Like, look at that. That's such an original way to use some of the decorations within the mod pack. So we shall leave it there. Choriphus, it's been a privilege to visit your plot, so thank you very much. I would love to visit other ones of yours when you finish them, and again, for the rest of you, I'll leave descriptions how to visit this place. If you ever do intend to visit the Darwin Reforged server, I shall also leave descriptions as to how to join us in my text, and we really would love to see you. It's always great to have new members to the community and new members to the mod pack itself, the Conquest Reforged mod pack. But I shall finish where I began, or close enough to it. Until next time, take care and stay frosty.